Всем привет, дамы и господа, с вами Алекс Назаренко. Топ-20 секретных боссов в видеоиграх, которых сложно найти.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 hardest characters to unlock, from bosses to companions to playable characters. Number 20, Wolverine, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
То есть у нас был Человек-паук, блять, а сейчас Росомаха. Блять, а ведь я сейчас смотрю реакцию Тохи, там был Хью Джекман. Я король совпадений, мать его.
5.
Ну, короче, Росомаха, конечно, старый чел, но, блять, он модный, молодежный, он катается на скейте.
Characters
How do you follow kids?
in the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater series don't require much effort to unlock. Heck, you can easily get away with just typing in the codes that unlock everything in the game. But if you
Нихуя не интересно.
want to do things legitimately for whatever reason, Pro Skater 5 might give you the most trouble.
Блять.
Unlike the other characters, Wolverine comes with a lengthy, time-consuming requirement to unlock him. You'll just have to complete the entire game with 2 separate characters.
Пройдите за 2 персонажей и получите еще одного.
That's right. Every stunt, every trick, every skate letter, every combo will have to be done twice
Ёбана Оли.
between 2 different skaters. Have fun! Number 19, Mewtwo, Super Smash Bros. Melee.
Казалось бы, почему они его не впихнули? Или типа настолько, блядь, сильный покемон, что, сука, не, он не достоин Super Smash Bros. Ой, простите, Super Smash Bros. Melee.
Much like Wolverine, the grind to unlock Mewtwo in Smash Bros. Melee is incredibly time-consuming. What's more shocking is that there are 2 ways to get him, both involving an incredible amount of grinding. Method 1 requires you to clock in at least 20 hours of game time, which you can spend in any number of ways.
А если ты меню откроешь и оставишь на 20 часов включенным, засчитается?
Between Adventure Mode, Classic Mode, Events, Training,
Тренировки.
Target Modes, or just regular matches.
Зашел в тренировки 20 часов просто, на 20 часов просто оставил.
Method 2 is simply playing regular matches. Well, 700 matches
Но зато, блядь, получите Мьюту.
in total. Either way, better make sure you get good before the ultimate
Это что за покемон?
life form shows up. He ain't going down easy. Number 18, Devil, Tekken 2.
Респект им, кстати, за ломание канонов. Фиолетовый дьявол.
In most fighting games, unlocking the boss as a playable character only requires you to beat the game with every character. Totally doable in just a few hours. Tekken 2 is a special case, however, as it kind of pulls the wool over your eyes from the get-go. See, the 10 characters you see on the fighter select screen aren't the only characters you need to beat the game with. You're going to need to beat the game with every single unlockable character as well. In other
Короче, вот те 10 персонажей. Получишь еще одного, если за каждого все матчи пройдешь, блядь.
words, you're going to need to understand every character's toolkit while adjusting to the game's archaic controls.
Ну, короче, он всех толкает, и вот его суперспособность.
Number 17, Squall, Chocobo Racing.
Сквал. Блять, я думал, это Марио Карт.
Didn't expect a kart racer to show up on this list, did you? Overall, Chocobo Racing is one of the easiest racing games you could play, although there is a tiny asterisk over that statement. See, if you just sprint through the story and play for fun, yeah, easy game. But if you want to complete the game and unlock every character, you're going to need to race Squall on his own course. Now, what makes this frustrating is that Squall is the most broken character in the entire game. The hero of Final Fantasy illustrating is that Squall is the most broken character in the
О, Square Enix.
entire game. The hero of Final Fantasy VIII is the only character with a power-up
А,
equivalent to Mario Kart's blue shell. The power-up hits everyone and is completely unavoidable. Yeah, Squall is a filthy cheat.
ну короче, поиграй, пройди нахуй все уровни и получи чит в подарок. И топовую музыку на фоне. Гол!
Number 16. Morrigan and Nakaruru. Capcom
Морган, Морган признан иноагентом на территории РФ.
versus SNK Millennium Fight 2000 Pro.
Бля, топовая менюшка с персонажами. Мне нравится еще, как они...
Pro.
Все, собираем колоду.
We promise the entire list isn't loaded with fighting games requiring you to just beat the
Спасибо.
game with every character, but we'd be remiss not to include Capcom vs SNK Millennium Fight 2000 Pro because of the sheer size of the roster. Would you believe that Morrigan and Nakaruru are hiding among this huge cast? In order to access these legendary fighters, you will need to beat the entire game with every Capcom character to unlock Morrigan and every SNK
Не просто с персонажем одной игры, а со всеми, блядь, персонажами Capcom.
character to unlock Nakaruru. Think you have the time to tackle the
Блядь, в игре от Bandai Namco надо пройти нахуй за всех персонажей всех игр Bandai Namco.
ladder with more than 30 characters?
Охуительная фаталити, блядь.
Number 15. Diva. Baldur's Gate 3.
Врата Балдура 3. Baldur's Gate 3 звучит лучше.
Baldur's Gate 3 hides a wealth of powerful summons to aid you in battle, but there's one summon very few players managed to find during their initial playthrough. Remember how annoying divas were to fight? Well, you can turn that around by summoning a diva of your own. In Act 3, there is a fake wall in the Vault of Sorcerer's Sundries that can only be reached by crossing an invisible bridge. Baldur's Gate
Круто, что есть такие видосы, которые рассказывают, что, блядь, можно, как сделать.
3 does not hint at this possibility
Ну, короче, если кратко, помучиться.
in any way, shape, or form, meaning the only way you would ever acquire the summon is if you were testing every corner of every area you entered. Best to look up a guide for this one.
Возвращаясь к Square Enix, я когда не понимал, что делать в Ларри Крофт, например, вот эта миссия с собиранием через камни, вот пробраться через камни, в Том Брайдере это вроде было, я гуглил инфу.
Elminster, Silverhand, and Carsus. What secrets of Netheril might lie behind his door, I wonder.
Number 14. Stormtalon, Ghostmaster. In case you've never heard of it, Ghostmaster was a hidden gem of a PC game where you utilized a small troop of ghosts and ghouls to scare the denizens of Gravenville. You can even find special spooks hidden behind puzzles or, in Stormtalon's case, special events and powers happening at very specific points. To unlock Stormtalon, you'll have to play a scenario that takes place at Spooky Hollow. Then, summon a storm
Еще бы, блядь, чтобы что-то не было спуки.
before you go using your
О, тут можно поиграть за ватника.
wind and water powers to create the distant thunder condition. As soon as you do, Stormtalon will appear to help you haunt residents.
Ну как громовой коготь, просто молнии.
Storm
Вот он.
Talon, prince among elemental,
О, у него есть свой Мьёльнир.
answers your call of thunder
То, что с тобой стало?
and lightning.
Number 13.
Почему ты превратился в квакозябру?
Junkyard Dog, Fallout 4.
You've got a deal.
Oh, yeah. You sure? I mean, she's a great dog. Don't get me wrong.
We all know the usual suspects when it comes to Fallout 4's roster of companions. Piper, Dogmeat, Nick Valentine, but did you know there's one companion very few know about? It's a
Сина.
second dog too. See, every time you enter and re-enter the Commonwealth, there is one specific merchant who will spawn in a random spot somewhere in the world. So it's already hard enough to figure out
Этот, как этот, торговец из Resident Evil Пушки и игрушки рифмуются не зря.
Where this guy is. Not only do you have to find this merchant, you will also need a high enough charisma stat to pass the skill check and convince him to let you purchase his dog from him. If you can, try to just max out your charisma before attempting to track him down and get the dog. It will be worth the time and effort.
Ну, короче, тут, наверное, тут проще, чем исследовать, что-то проходить со всех персонажей. Тут нужно просто научиться хорошо пиздеть в игре.
You be a good girl. Bye-bye. I gotta go. You take care of her, all right?
Number 12. Floyd, Mortal Kombat 1.
Ты нашел Флойда! Осуждаю! ГБТ запрещенная террористическая федерация организация. Pink guy.
Initially, the requirements to unlock Floyd may seem like a daunting task. The secret boss is locked behind a whopping 37 secret challenges. Here's the thing though, you don't need to fulfill all 37
Да ну нахуй.
challenges. Those challenges are merely a pool for Mortal Kombat 1 to pull from and assign 10 of them at random to each player. You won't know which 10 you were assigned until you attempt them, and once you do, you'll be
Короче, хуярь, а потом поймешь.
challenged by one of the most formidable ninjas in Mortal Kombat history, the Pink
Блять, назвать его грозным ниндзя, когда на нем розовое кимоно, не хочется.
Menace, Floyd. Beware the rainbow walls. Number 11. Vincent Valentine.
Хотя даже с человеком в розовом кимоно я бы не хотел драться, конечно.
Final Fantasy VII.
Музыка разъеб. Я не знаю тебя. Ты ливнул.
Much like Baldur's Gate 3 and the Diva Summon,
Тебе стоит свалить.
Final Fantasy VII does not give any sign that Vincent is anywhere in the game. This was one of those unlockables you either had to figure out on your
Чибики.
own back in the day, or take the word of mouth with a grain of salt. In order to recruit Vincent for yourself, you'll need to track down the code to unlock Shinra Manor's safe and defeat the secret boss, Lost.
Шинер это как Шир во «Властелине колец». У ностальгирующего критика как раз начался март «Властелина колец», ознакомливаюсь с этой вселенной. Ну, пока только один видос вышел в озвучке Джоша Зо, жду еще два. Да-да-да.
Number. Afterwards, you'll be able to talk to Vincent, but here's where it gets tricky. You will need to make very specific dialogue choices, or else Vincent will end the conversation. And no, you will not be able to try again unless you turn the game off
Пиздец.
without saving.
И тогда ведь еще не было автосохранений.
Number 10. Iron Checkpoint Crate. Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled.
У нас есть игра, похожая на Mario Kart, у нас есть игра от конкурентов Mario Kart, от конкурента вообще Nintendo. А самого Mario Kart здесь не будет. Полагаю.
When Crash Bandicoot's first racer was remastered for the modern era, it brought together characters from across the entire franchise, including some no one expected to see. Within the main platformers, the Iron Checkpoint Crate is exactly what it sounds like, a checkpoint. But in a post-launch update for Nitro Fueled, the developer included it as a silly unlockable character.
Коробка, которая сохраняет игру. Вот вам, блять, персонаж.
In order to earn it, you have to find all 39 hidden Beanox crates, one for each level, save for the PS4 exclusive Retro Stadium. That's already a tall order, but one for each level, save for the PS4 exclusive Retro Stadium.
Я люблю ретро.
That's already a tall order, but some of these crates are hard to find and even harder to break while barreling through courses at high speeds.
Чё бы, блять. За дорогой не смотрит, он только смотрит, блять, ящики, где ящики? Грузишь ящики, получишь ящики. Заработаешь ящики.
Number 9. Stefan, Fire Emblem, Path of Radiance.
Так вот как выглядит блогер Мордекай. Без этой мышки.
There are some characters whose method of unlocking is not something the average player would ever think to do. In Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, Stefan is one of the strongest fighters you can add to your party. Unfortunately, it's highly likely that you'll miss the chance to unlock him. He can only join in Chapter 15, and you have to unlock him on...
А тут, короче, как в Геншине, надо до 16-го ранга хуярить, а тут до 15-го, чтобы получить что-то важное.
On the battlefield. But that's not the tough part. The player must have either Lethe or Mordecai step on a specific square away from the fight in order to speak with him. If it's any other character, they'll get his sword, but Stefan will forever be lost.
Подождите. Ага.
Step on a specific square away from
Я понял.
the fight in order to speak with him. If it's any other character, they'll get his sword, but Stefan will forever be lost.
Ну дай меч, позязя, убери клетку.
Number 8. The Forgotten. The Binding of Isaac, Rebirth.
Какая милая игрушка. Напоминает...
Although the story follows the unfortunate Isaac, there are still plenty of other characters to find. Added through an expansion, the Forgotten is a skeleton that fights with a bone club and has a laundry list of tasks in order to unlock. After defeating the first boss in under a minute, you'll get a broken shovel. You'll then need to survive as unlock. After defeating the first boss in under a minute, you'll get a broken shovel. You'll then need to survive as Mom stomps at you from above, though using your shabby prize will at least stop her from attacking in the current room. Eventually making it through a boss rush, you'll repair the shovel. Then just keep surviving waves of enemies until you reach the dark room where you can dig up the Forgotten's remains. Hope it was worth it. Number 7. Skelly, Chrono Cross.
Блять, этой игры здесь нету в плеймаркете почему-то.
As you'll see, some of the hard...
Там еще на иконке рыцарь был, там еще были... ты идешь в портал, там еще есть битвы с боссами.
Hardest characters to unlock can be found in RPGs. Chrono Cross features a surprising 45 possible party members, and Skelly is...
Бля. Мне нужен этот... Если бы я играл в эту игру, он мне был бы нужен. Похуй, какие у него способности, главное, он выглядит прикольно.
Without a doubt, the hardest to unlock. You'll come across his lone skull in Fossil Valley, where he'll ask you to track down his remaining parts. You'll then have to track down those parts across 6 different locations of its fairly large world.
Удачные игры, блядь. Удачных поисков. Это как, знаете, в Геншине. Я возьму игру, в которой большая карта. Вот, допустим, Геншин. И типа, пройди, блядь, дохуя локаций и получишь, блядь, персонажа.
While it's possible to find some before coming across Skelly, others are pretty challenging to find and hidden in obscure areas. But after bringing them all together and watching him reunite with his grandma back in Termina, Skelly will head out on your adventure. Number 6.
Какая охуительная музыка.
Reiji Kido, Revelations, Persona.
Мы, получается, перешли к японским играм. Хотя и до этого они были.
These days, players can simply look up guides on how to unlock characters, but in 1996, you had to follow a set of specific, obscure decisions in order to earn Reiji in the first Persona. You'd have to know to start the process right at the beginning, heading from the infirmary to the teacher's lounge. Talking to a certain teacher would lead you to a classroom on the 2nd floor where you'd meet Reiji. From there, it took following a set path, including finding and second floor,
должен еще подняться.
Where you'd meet Reiji. From there, it took following a set path, including finding and talking to his mother only once and declining specific characters when they wanted to join. If you did any number of things incorrectly, one of the best possible...
Один персонаж может порешать все. Один. Один только.
Party members would be lost for good. Number 5. William Borden, Urban Reign.
Today, I would like to announce a new crime prevention initiative that will stop this epidemic which plagues our city.
Going through the process of unlocking a character isn't always worth it. This beat-em-up story mode follows Brad Hawk, a hired muscle caught in the middle of a gang war. The villain is corrupt politician William Borden, who is behind the city state and craves even more power. Players can unlock him, though it takes a lot of dedication. You have to get an S rank on every stage, which can be ridiculously tough. There's a number of characters and difficulty levels to consider to find the right balance so you can earn your trophy. But Borden sucks anyway, from his stats to his attacks,
Заебись.
so you may as well not even bother.
Ну ты отстойник, блядь. Мы, конечно, добивались тебя, но ты отстойник, блядь.
Number 4. Zero.
Ну, он отстой, но за него, наверное, сейчас играл профессионал.
Bayonetta. In the original Bayonetta, you could unlock an additional hard mode in the form of a character named Zero. Essentially controlling the same as the main character, Zero can only handle a couple of hits
Сперматозоид в шляпе.
before he goes down. As you might expect, unlocking him is no small feat either. After finishing every Alfheim mission, you can try your hand at a special survival chapter consisting of 51 fights. The first 10 are on normal mode, the next 20 on hard, and the next 20 on non-stop climax. It culminates in a clash with Bayonetta herself, who has 5 health bars and naturally puts up a mighty fight.
Короче, хуярься самой собой. Блять, топ-10 аниме битов, нахуй.
Number 3. The Crystal Men. FTL, Faster Than Light. With a procedurally generated solar system's worth of encounters, FTL provides a ton of possible allies. But the Crystal Men are both the hardest to recruit and the ones most worth doing so. First, you'll need to be lucky enough to encounter a randomized event where a distress call leads you to an asteroid field. There, you'll find a damaged stasis pod you must get repaired at a specific facility which holds your first Crystal crew member. Then you must wait for another random event to happen, which gets you a device that teleports you to a hidden sector.
Короче, понятно.
Only then will you be able to recruit more Crystal Men who have great weapons and one of the best ships in the game.
Да может, ну нахуй их. Ради этого столько делать.
Number 2. Cloud Strife. Final Fantasy Tactics. Although he's arguably the most famous Final Fantasy protagonist, Cloud takes a ton of work to unlock in this spin-off. Like several others, it requires following a very specific path within the story. You must have kept Mustadio in your party and completed Chapter 4, after which you must know to return to his hometown. There, you can aid his father in completing his portal device through a lengthy side quest that includes recruiting other party members and a secret boss fight. You'll also have to have bought a flower from a girl in Salgidos. Afterwards, Cloud will be
Salgidos.
summoned to this world, and he'll join your party the next time you return. How anyone could have known to do all this is beyond us. Before we continue, be sure the option you're setting Nordum, Planescape, Torment.
Что тут тоже нужно все углы обойти.
Not only does unlocking Norden take some major outside-the-box thinking, but it takes completing an infamously tough dungeon. First, you have to buy what seems like an ordinary cube from the Curiosity Shop. Turns out this is a figurine of a Modron, one of Nordum's mechanical race. But you can only find this out by speaking to some real Modrons or Ivana, the Galeria owner.
Ивана.
Only then can you get
Привет из России. Hi from Russia.
a chance to solve the cube's puzzle, which will then teleport you to a maze. This labyrinth is one of the most difficult to solve the cube's puzzle, which will then teleport you to a maze. This
Я думал, там интернет написано. Там написано лабиринт.
labyrinth is one of the most difficult levels the game has to offer, with plenty of strong enemies and shifting parts. Nordum stands as your prize for making it through it all. Did you enjoy this video?
Чел, мы, блядь, выиграли. Ты наша награда. Все, блядь. Ты теперь наша сучка. ставьте лайки, подписывайтесь на канал, жмите на колокольчик, чтобы пускать новые видео, пишите комментарии, залетайте на телегу. С вами был Алекс Назарик, и всем спасибо за просмотр, всем пока.